Hello and welcome to WFTV's Law Talk, your guide to understanding the law and how it impacts our community.
We break down complicated legal topics as part of our mission to ensure legal access for all.
I'm Hugh McCrae alongside Jeff Harvey, the CEO of Community Legal Services throughout Central Florida. Together, we're here to bring you insights about the legal system and the services that support it.
We talk with influential changemakers and explore their approach to these important issues.
So join us as we amplify the voices of those who are striving to make justice accessible to all. You're watching Law Talk.
Turning complex legal jargon into everyday talk. That's WFTV's Law Talk, sponsored by Community Legal Services.
Well, thank you for joining us for another edition of WFTV's Law Talk. Myself and Jeff here, we're really excited to introduce you to this lady, Mary Dees. Thank you for joining us today, a philanthropist, an entrepreneur, but you've taken a turn when it comes to your new passion.
Going into this new venture of wanting to bring awareness to a cause that's become extremely important to me was nothing I planned, but is something that I have marching orders. So I'm definitely, going forward and making sure that I do everything I possibly can to, bring awareness to this cause that's overlooked, and know that it could happen to anyone. And so here I am, and I'm honored to be here, and thank you so much for this opportunity.
You say marching orders. This is something you have to do.
No doubt.
Will you tell us a little bit about what brought you here?
Okay, so in December of 2021, my sister was killed by her husband of almost 20 years. So I had never known of domestic violence in the sense of physical harm. I knew that there was emotional and financial things that were happening within the home, but they had been married for 20 years, so you just kind of let it go. It was two and a half years before the trial actually took place. He was out on bond 48 hours after he violently shot my sister with a shotgun in the driveway of their home, instantly killing her. So the fact that he was free for 2.5 years, ordering Uber Eats and going on walks and he had opportunities to go to the grocery store. It just really built up this, frustration inside of me that it's wrong. It's not correct that someone's able to live out their life while my sister's life was taken from her. I had to get the story out. Unfortunately, the video, that 38-minute video, went viral on the internet because of the defense saying that, look what we were able to do. We were able to get this murderer off, and with only 10 years, a slap on the wrist. So it's become a passion project. It's become something that I did not sign up for. Like I said, I really feel that this story, and I know for a fact, I've already been told, has made changes in other people's lives that don't want to take the chance of someone pointing a gun at them and taking their life.
How are you getting your message out to the public?
The story was getting out there, and instead of pushing it aside, I went ahead and grasped it and said, you know what, let's make a silver lining out of a really bad situation. That being said, I had the people in my other support groups saying, oh, I wish I would have had an opportunity to share the story about my daughter. I wished I would have had the opportunity to share about my wife, about my husband. So it became something that was very, I was very aware of the fact that people need to speak, and some people don't want to speak about the tragedy of homicide, especially domestic homicide, which is a whole another element because it's someone that you most likely know and know well. I had never even listened to a podcast. It wasn't a decision that I just made, I'm going to have a podcast. I have a podcast, The Love of My Life to Death podcast. Because other people want to speak about their loved ones. It's hoping to provide support for those that need to speak, awareness for those that may not know how to leave that situation, and then also any changes, not just in the state of Florida and Texas, which is where I'm really focused, but nationwide. there is something that needs to be done to stop some of the domestic violence and hold these people accountable for much longer than 5 years.
So as you meet with these people that are impacted by stories maybe similar, not exactly the same, but similar to what your sister went through, what types of resources are available that you're coming across that have been very helpful?
Bereaved survivors of homicide, as I mentioned, New Hope for Kids, and there's Harbor House is amazing, Annabelle's Closet. There's a lot that try to help prior to tragedy. We need to, offer resources that really show how ugly it can get. And I think in some of my conversations, because there was actually a death involved, that sometimes I'm hoping that it'll wake them up and say, you know what, Patricia, Reese is what her friends call her, she never thought her husband would kill her. I have no doubt to the moment that gun was pointed at her that there was no doubt she did not think he was going to do it, but he did it.
So you mentioned you were on the phone with somebody last night even that's struggling with this issue. What would you tell them? What would you tell anyone that's watching this that might be dealing with domestic violence?
I shared with them to call Harbor House 24-hour line immediately, so to do it right when we got off the phone. But I also told them the next day to call Community Legal Services to get with you guys on how to go through the legal system, because she didn't have any access to the finances, to the family funds. She was fearful of him in order to get a restraining order. So those were things that I said we need to do, and we can't wait. We need to make action. So that was at 11:30 p.m.
Well, Mary, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Thank you, guys. I truly appreciate you giving me the opportunity to share something that is so important, and I appreciate being here.
We appreciate the selfless work you're doing to try to protect others.
A lot of times, and Mary talked about this as well, it's one thing to know you're a victim of domestic violence. It's another thing to bring it into the open and be, to trust somebody with that information. So
it's not easy.
No, it isn't. Well, if you know someone who is in need of legal assistance or has an issue when it comes to domestic violence, of course, reach out to Community Legal Services, or to learn more about today's topic or to watch other episodes of Law Talk, visit our website, wftv.com/legal.
Till next time, thanks for watching Law Talk.
WFTV's Law Talk is sponsored by Community Legal Services.